The circulatory system. The adult human body contains only about 5 liters of blood. Copyright PDSD Home Economics. Composition of the blood. Blood is made up of a liquid part called plasma. 2. Cells that are suspended in the plasma. Composition of the blood. The plasma is made up of 90% water. 2. There are many substances dissolved in the water. For example, sugar, protein, hormones, enzymes, minerals, etc. Composition of the blood. There are 3 types of cells suspended in the plasma. Red blood cells. 2. White blood cells. 3. Platelets. Functions of the blood. The blood has 3 main functions: transport. 2. Fighting infection. 3. Clotting, transport. The blood carries very many substances around the body. For example, blood carries oxygen from the lungs to the cells. Blood carries carbon dioxide from the cells to the lungs. Blood carries digested food products from the intestines to the cells. Blood carries waste from the cells to the liver and the kidneys. Blood carries hormones and enzymes around the body. Fighting infection. The blood destroys bacteria and viruses that may infect the body. Clotting. Sometimes a tear occurs in a blood vessel. For example, when you are cut, blood will leak out. Infection may enter. It is vital that such tears are repaired quickly. The blood does this by forming a clot that seals the wound. Another function of the blood is to help maintain normal body temperature. This is 37 degrees Celsius. The function of red blood cells is to carry oxygen around the body. The function of white blood cells is to fight infection. Some white blood cells produce substances called antibodies that identify and destroy bacteria, viruses. Other white blood cells kill bacteria by engulfing them and digesting. The function of the platelets is to help the blood to clot. The circulatory system. On leaving the heart, the blood passes into all of the organs and limbs of the body before being returned to the heart. The circulatory system. The heart. The heart is located in the center of the chest, behind the breastbone. The function of the heart is to pump blood. The heart is made up of muscle called cardiac muscle. The structure of the heart. The heart is divided into 2 sides, left and right, separated by a wall of muscle called the septum. Each side has 2 chambers. The top chambers are called atria. The lower chambers are called ventricles. The heart left atrium, right atrium, left ventricle, right ventricle. Septum. The 4 chambers of the heart. The heart acts as if it were 2 separate pumps. The right ventricle pumps blood to the lungs. 2. The left ventricle pumps blood all round the rest of the body. Since the lungs are very close to the heart, the right ventricle doesn't pump blood very far. Since it must pump blood much further, the muscle of the left ventricle is much thicker than of the right ventricle. Blood vessels of the heart. The heart. The vena cava carry deoxygenated blood from all over the body to the right atrium. The superior vena cava collect deoxygenated from the upper parts of the body. The inferior vena cava collect the blood from the lower parts of the body. The blood then flows into the right ventricle. It is then pumped into pulmonary artery. Pulmonary circulation. The pulmonary artery carries deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle to the lungs. It divides in 2, 1 to each lung. This blood is oxygenated in the lungs. The pulmonary veins carry oxygenated blood from the lungs to the left atrium of the heart. There are 4 pulmonary veins, 2 from each lung. Systemic or general circulation. The left ventricle contracts and pumps blood out of the heart through the aorta. The aorta is the major artery of the body. It carries blood all over the body. It collects carbon dioxide. The deoxygenated blood travels back to the right atria through the vena cava. Blood flow through the heart. Pulmonary artery. Aorta. Superior vena cava. Pulmonary veins. Blue equals deoxygenated blood. Red equals oxygenated blood. Inferior vena cava. Blood flow through the heart. Blood flow through the heart. Blood vessels. The tubes that carry blood are known as blood vessels. There are three types: arteries, veins, capillaries. Blood vessels. Arteries carry blood away from the heart. Veins carry blood towards the heart. Capillaries connect arteries to veins. The differences between arteries and veins. The blood in the arteries is under much higher pressure than in veins. This means that the wall of an artery is much thicker than that of a vein. This also means that the passage through an artery is much narrower than in a vein. The differences between arteries and veins. Arteries do not have valves because the blood is under high pressure. To prevent low pressure blood flowing backwards, veins have valves. The differences between arteries and veins. The blood in arteries is oxygenated except for the pulmonary artery. The blood in veins is deoxygenated except for the pulmonary vein. Structure of arteries. They are thick-walled tubes. They all have the same basic construction. A fibrous outer covering. A middle layer of muscle and elastic tissue. An endothelial layer, a single layer of flattened cells. Structure of capillaries. The capillaries are the smallest blood vessels. Their walls are one cell thick and porous, thus allowing the passage of gases and nutrients. Structure of veins. They have three layered walls similar to that of arteries. Their walls are much thinner and the lumen is larger. They have a fibrous outer coating, a middle layer of muscle and elastic tissue, an endothelial layer. They have valves to prevent the backflow of blood. The heartbeat. When the heart pumps, a pulse of blood is sent down the arteries. This pulse can be felt in several places, for example the wrist, the temples and the neck. What is pulse? The rate at which your heart pumps blood through your circulatory system. When blood is pumped from the left ventricle into the aorta swells. The elastic wall of the aorta contacts, thus forcing the blood to move on. This sets up a wave of swelling and contracting which continues along all the elastic tissues. It can be felt wherever an artery passes close to the surface of the skin and over a bone. Most adults' heartbeat is 72 to 80 beats per minute. Babies have a beat of 130 times a minute. Anemia is a reduction in the blood's ability to carry oxygen. It may be caused by loss of blood, lack of iron in the diet, a failure of the bone marrow to produce the normal level of red blood cells. The heartbeat. The normal human heartbeat is 70 beats per minute. The normal human adult breathing rate is 16 to 17 breaths per minute. The heartbeat. If more oxygen is needed by the muscles and the brain, the rate of the heartbeat increases. Extra blood is pumped to these organs and so they get extra oxygen. Carbon dioxide is also removed faster. Factors that increase the rate of the heartbeat include exercise, a fright, smoking, excitement.